I'm doing a series of videos to help people get better with the fundamentals of the game, and I call it simple golf because that's something that we all need. Sometimes on the golf channel it seems like some people make it out to be brain science, and it's really not. It's a simple game. It's got some fundamentals that'll make you get better faster. So I'm going to start with the first thing and the most important thing, and that's the grip. What I like to see players do is get their hands opposite each other, where the left hand is facing the right, and they're both, the back of the left hand is facing the target, the palm of the right is facing the target, and I like to see players get them on there in what I call a neutral position. I'm going to show you some easy ways to hold the club and to get better day in and day out. Is to hold your club out in front of you, and you want to get your scoring lines, which are the lines on the face of your club, straight up and down. Hold it by the steel, just above the handle, and we want to lay the bottom of that club, after we've got our scoring line straight up and down, across the middle joint of our middle finger, the lower joint or the ring of our ring finger, and the bottom joint of your pinky. And what that allows you to do is, if you do that, it's kind of at a diagonal, and you're going to have the fat part, or the pad of your hand, is going to be on top of the shaft. And you can tell you're doing this right because you're going to be able to bounce that up and down, and you're going to have really good support, and you don't have to have a lot of grip pressure. And a lot of people make a mistake here, and they'll get it up in their palm a little bit, and makes it weak. So what we're looking for here, and I've taken some liberty to draw some on this glove. I'm looking, when I look down here, I want to see these two knuckles. I've got them darkened a little bit so they'll show up. I want to see those two knuckles when I'm looking down. I have my butt of my club facing kind of my belt buckle or my belly button, and I have an arrow drawn on this part of the glove. I want this V between the forefinger and my thumb on my left hand to point somewhere between my right shoulder and right ear. If I can do that, then I'm going to have what I would call somewhat of a neutral grip. The club's going to want to return somewhat square every time, unless we manipulate it in some way or another. So once we have that left hand on there, we're seeing our two knuckles on the left hand, we got the V going to our right shoulder or right ear, scoring lines are straight up and down. Then we can take our right hand and put it on the club. There are three ways you can do this. This is called the baseball grip, where all 10 fingers are on there. The other would be called a Varden grip, or an overlap. And then we have what I use is called an interlock. And that's where your pinky and your forefinger on your left hand interlock. And what I grew up doing this, so it's what has felt comfortable to me over the years, and I've stuck with it. And what you're trying to do here is take your right hand, and it needs to be in a supportive roll. It's a lot more in your fingers than most people think. And this allows you to have room where the lifeline on your right hand is between your thumb and your palm. That lifeline is kind of where that thumb on your left hand is going to sit. It forms a pocket there, and it's actually very easy. If you have it in your fingers, it's very easy to have that thumb on your right hand go slightly over. Well, what we're looking for here is to have the V on this left hand and the V on this right hand to match, to where they're parallel, club still square by having those scoring lines straight up and down, and both of those V's are going to go somewhere or between my right shoulder and right ear. If I get, we'll strengthen this a little bit, everything's going to go to the right. They're still going to match, but if you look at now, all of a sudden my V's are going to point outside my right shoulder. Well, this is what a lot of people don't realize, is that your grip is going to dictate the way you swing. So if I have a very strong grip, you see what it did to my setup. All of a sudden this shoulder went real high, the right arm went real low, and I'm going to produce more than likely an in-to-out swing because it's setting me up this way. But it could also lead to other problems. It could lead to taking it back too far inside, or it's just too many things that can go wrong. I would prefer to have my students get it somewhat neutral if they can, 2 knuckles left hand, the V's pointing right shoulder to right ear, and tweak it a little bit. And we're talking 1/16 of an inch, rotating it right or left. I always want to have these matching, because if I, as a right-handed person, if I get my right hand in a dominant position, if I go too far over to the right, well, and I get a little antsy and I want to get some juice on it, all of a sudden, I don't know if you can see what that club's doing, it's shutting down. I'm going to turn that sucker over and I'm going to have problems. So I would rather have the hands on there in what I consider a neutral position. It's going to produce a fairly straight shot, might a little bit of a draw, because the angles that we swing on are they're a tilted circle, so you're going to create an arc and you're going to have somewhat of an inside path that's going to produce draw spin. So it might produce a little bit of a draw spin, which is okay. It's predictable. We're just trying to keep from having a big slice or a big duck hook. So getting those hands on there in that neutral position is very important. This grip is something that you can actually work on at the house in your favorite lounge chair or couch or whatever, sitting there watching your favorite TV show or listening to music or whatever. All you've got to do is take your club. I'm going to try to get to where you can see this. Point it at your belly button, okay? Get those scoring lines straight up and down. Practice getting in your left hand, put the pad on top. You can hold it up in front of you, tilted, and see that that's square, and you can see where your V's, your 2 knuckles, and see where your V's going, and then put your right hand on it. Whether you're using the overlap, the interlock, or the baseball grip, doesn't matter. But re-grip that and look at it, and then start over. The more you do that, the better you're gonna, it's gonna become second nature to you. If I asked you to change the way you hold your pencil or your pen, and you had to sign your name, it would be chaotic, because it's not something that you're used to doing. If I told you to sign your name, you grab a pen and you go zzz, and you don't even think about it, because you've done it so many times it's become habit. If you do a little bit every day, man, in a couple of weeks it'll become second nature and you'll be good. You'll be much better at it, and then you won't have to think about it. One of the other things I want to cover in this segment about the grip is grip pressure. There are a lot of people that will tell you that it needs to be a firm grip, but I'm of the belief that I was a pitcher in baseball. So if you've ever thrown a ball, which most of us have, you know that you can't grip that ball tight and ever get it to release. You have to grip it in a way to where everything is still supple for you to be able to let that ball go. If you squeeze that, let's say you grabbed a ball and on a scale of 1 to 10, you squeezed it at a 7 and you tried to throw it. More than likely, you're going to throw it in the dirt right in front of you, because you don't have, you have so much pressure on it that you can never release the ball. A golf club to me is the same way. I want to have enough pressure on it to where it doesn't try to slip out of my hands, but it doesn't take very much of that. And here's the reason why. Grip is designed, it's skinnier here and it's fatter here. And when we put it in our hands with our fat part on top, you can look at it from here, I can just lay it in there and have just the pad on top. I don't even have to close my hands. I couldn't pull that out. You could drag me down the fairway and it's not coming out. It's wedged in there. If this were smaller on this end, I might have a problem, but that's not the issue. They're bigger on the butt end, and it's going to help you hold on to the golf club, so there doesn't have to be a lot of pressure. The main thing is that we have it in our fingers on our left, pads on top. This gives us a way to hold the club with very little pressure. The best way to play golf, at least for me, when I was playing the best I'd ever played, my hands did very little. I would consider them very passive. And what it does is it allows your club to return the same way every time. It's a very consistent way to play golf. That's what it looks like. It's pointing at my belly button, and you can see those V's are going between right shoulder and right ear. I like to have that on there because if I let my arms relax in this manner, then my club is going to return in a square position 9 out of 10 times. If I try to guide it, the most hard golf I've ever played is when I tried to steer the ball. I was hitting this shot. That's not any fun. So you really want to be able to trust what you're doing with your fundamentals, and the grip is the start to that. But you're always going to want to double check this grip because it is the only thing that connects the direction of the club face to you. And if we have a poor grip, then we're setting ourselves up for a lot of compensations in our golf swing that are unnecessary. So try to get your grip in that neutral position. I hope this helps your game. Follow along, subscribe to my channel. I hope you enjoy this. Hit that bell and it'll notify you when I put out my next video. And again, thanks for watching.